What is up, guys? It's Mitchell or Deity, and as you know, we are getting the Headhunt event. So the Headhunt event is a way that you can pick a Moonlight 5 character. We've been getting it once a year, but you are able to pick any Moonlight 5 character that isn't released in the last, I think it's 6 or 4 months that this event happens. So if we look at the bottom right now, we're not going to be able to get Ainz. He's a collab character. You can't get Harsetti, Senya, Ilanav, or Luna. All these characters would be in top picks except for Ainz. So with this tier list, it's not really too much of a tier list. It's more of a, if you had 5,000 people, you would be able to say 4,000 of them are going to take a character from the top pick. 500 would take something from really good, or 800, and 200 pick something from situational. So all of these characters are good. Are good in their own respective place. I'm not saying that this character down here in situational isn't better than one of these top characters. I'm just making this based off of what the general player is most likely going to pick that's going to give them value on their account. So try to take that away. Also, this is before the bounce patch. So ML5 and Ruel and some of the other soon-to-be buff characters, they get buffed tonight, are going to be in a spot on tier list. I'm going to be redoing this tier list, obviously, right before the end of the event. Or once you guys can start picking your characters and give another opinion. But this is a way to get the conversation started so you can get an idea in your head as to what would benefit your account the most. So this isn't a final form thing. This is just something to get us talking and get you guys at least an idea to make you more excited to go in and do the event. A lot of people are like, why are you doing this right now if things are going to change? The idea is to get you guys excited. You're getting a free Moonlight 5. So if you don't play during this event, you don't get the free ML5. You have to log in, you get coins, you have to spend those coins. So getting an idea of a character now will help you have the motivation to log in. Hopefully that psychology thing makes sense to you. That's the reason we're doing this now. So with the top picks, Death Dealer Ray, Ambitious Tywin, Zio. Those are my top 3 characters right now that you could get. Death Dealer Ray, a lot of you, if you follow my guide series, you're going to have. But even as a new or existing player, Death Dealer Ray is just by far, he's unparalleled in terms of individual power in this game. The only character that, in my opinion, comes close is New Moon Luna. But Death Dealer Ray, if you do not have him, say you started before and picked, say, Conqueror Lilies or something from Moonlight Blessing 2, if you grab Death Dealer Ray, you're never going to be sad. Also, we have a buff coming to Specimen Says, to where if a character is sleeping, Specimen Says now gets the full penetration damage on whatever character he's attacking. So it's a buff to Death Dealer Ray with this newest update that just came out today. Next up, Ambitious Tywin. This one is a scary one for me to suggest because Ambitious Tywin is either God tier or never picked. Right now, we are in a meta where cleansers are scarce. There's very few cleansers in the game because you can punish cleansers because they have non-attack skills. So right now, Ambitious Tywin is really strong because no one wants to pick a Mediator Cowrick or Last Rider Crowd, things that give immunity to prevent ML Tyrant from stunning and defense breaking your team. There's not a lot of characters you want to pick to stop that don't just get hard countered by anything else the opponent can have. So a Tywin right now is really good. I'm just scared because we're entering what looks like it's going to be another meta of PvP in this game, that immunity is back. Immunity is going to be good against Mort. Immunity is going to be good against Silverblade Araminta. All of these characters that have debuffs that don't strip the opponent, immunity is going to be really good against. So I'm really scared about the A Tywin, but for right now, he's one of the best characters you could possibly pick. So maybe wait, and if A Tywin's one that you're wanting, wait and see what it's like in 2 weeks. I don't think you'll ever be sad that you have him because, again, he comes in and out of the meta. Yes, maybe he falls off for a little bit, but he will be back. He's just too strong not to make a return. Now, Zio is my third pick because having speed in Epic 7 always feels good. He's the only character that can outspeed Harsetti. And having that consistent turn 1 just allows you to be more confident in your drafts. So Zio gets extra combat readiness to whatever speed you build him on. So if you build a 240 Zio, you have a 300 speed character, essentially. If you build a 250 Zio, you're sitting at 310, 315. So Zio allows you to use lesser quality gear and still be able to contest your opponents. You guys are going crazy with the bad takes. That's so funny. You nailed it. Oh, that's hilarious. Everything I look over is really good. Okay, the next 3 characters in the top are going to be Sea Phantom Politis, Abyssal Euphene, and Blood Moon Haste. These ones aren't as high for me personally. Sea Phantom Politis, some people would argue over Zio. Probably a lot of people would. But for me, I just having the turn one of Zeo, having that confidence going into a match is so high valued. But C Phantom Politis, absolutely amazing character. She's a support style character, dual attacks. She gives your team an attack bonus and a speed bonus with rage buff. Rage buff is great. You will. I don't think you'll ever be sad you get C Phantom Politis. I used her a lot in even Abyss content and PvE things. Next up, Abyssal Euphine. I think Abyssal Euphine is still just going to go in that higher tier spot for me because of her passive giving 50% combat readiness reduction to your opponent. So if your opponent's trying to cleave you, having an Abyssal Euphine is unbelievably nice. And having right now, I think Holy Sack Euphine is still what I would build. Elbrus Euphine is fine, but Holy Sack Euphine gives you the ability to just take back games that you should never end up winning. So Abyssal Euphine as an anti-cleave extra character, because as a new player especially, getting into Epic 7, it's hard to fight cleave. So Abyssal Euphine just going to go up there. Next up, ML Haste. ML Haste was falling off a little bit compared to what he was, but he's still terrifying to fight. So ML Haste, if a character dies other than him, he gives immunity buff, and he gives a huge barrier to your team. And if he skill 3s, the skill 3 damage is doubled if he has the buff from somebody dying, and you get to revive your whole team. And he does like 20,000 damage. So he still is a great character. He's very scary to fight. I think he's still the best reviver in the game. So I'm going to put him at the top picks. Next up, we have a really good tier. So really good tier doesn't mean they're technically any worse than the top picks tier. Okay? I know that's a crazy concept, but really good doesn't mean they're worse. I just think less people will take from really good tier. Okay? So Moonlight Landy. Moonlight Landy is one of the most fun characters to have on your account. ML Landy is super, super strong. She always will be. The bad thing is we're about to have Mort that doesn't allow for counterattacking. And we just got the new Flan. The new Flan is unbelievably strong and can just one-shot your Landy. So the new Flan, in my opinion, kind of knocked Landy down to where you're probably not picking her almost ever. And new Mort's just going to hurt her even more. But she's still really good for everything. She's great for Arena, Guild Wars. But for RTA, she got knocked down tremendously over the last little bit. Next up is one of the 50-50 characters. It's getting buffed tonight, but ML Kairon, in my opinion, is going to be one of the strongest new player characters possible, and it's still going to be great for older players because you can do an even better build. So ML Kairon, they changed it to where his fixed damage is even higher now. I believe it's 15 to 20k. I believe it's 15k. ML Kairon's new thing is insane. So as a new player, you just put free HP gear on him. You don't have to build any damage on this character. You build him as bulky with as much effect res as possible, and he will just free carry you to champion arena. He's the only character you need. This character by himself with any kind of tank, you're good to go. You bring Destina plus ML Kairon plus Arrowwell, you're good to go. He's going to just carry you to champion arena. Super fast, super easy. I think any new player that got him, you're going to be super happy to have him. Now for older players, I'm not sure how he'll perform in especially RTA with people being able to soul burn and things that will guarantee strip you. Also, Soulblade Araminta buff will be decent against him because he will have no immunity, and Soulblade Araminta is going to start being built on 250 to 300 effectiveness. So the overall goal with my Kairon, I used to build him with 340 effect res. I'm going to lower that to about 280 with around 24,000 HP, and hopefully he's good from there. But I think ML Kairon's going to be up there. So Bellion just reduces souls. If you guys don't know Bellion, she's great. She's always a great character to have. Bright prevents reviving. Always going to be a great character to have. Next up, Arbiter Villager. When he revives, he can one-shot your opponent's team. He has a new exclusive equipment that gives him dodge chance. Arby's always going to be great. Plus, he's great for PvE content. Next up, Conqueror Lilius. She's fallen off as like the opening support character. Sea Phantom's just better than her, in my opinion. But Conqueror, or at least usable in more spots. Yes, you could have a specific Conqueror Lilius draft, but I don't think she's anywhere near as good as that anymore. But she's still a fantastic character. She's just a similar support style to that. Next up, Dragon King Sharoon. I don't know if Dragon King Sharoon should be up this high. She's one of the main counters to Death Dealer Ray, and her class debuff is amazing. So if you S3 into 3 tanks, it's going to, or Soul Weavers, it's going to defense break them. So Sharoon will always be super high tier for me. Just really good against any character that sleeps or stuns your team. Next up, we have Mediator Kalric. He's just one of the best cleansers in the game. Decent against Arceti right now. He's decent against ML Luna to an extent. Having a cleanser that can give immunity, I think is going to be higher value in the upcoming meta. Again, I really think immunity characters are going to be making a big comeback just to help fight against some of the nonsense that's getting ready to be released. Same with Last Starter Crow. Specimen says technically got a buff today with his exclusive equipment. He can pair with any character that sleeps now and still get full penetration, and that also extinks. He can one-shot any character on the game on low-end skills. Summon Sage Vivian, fantastic character to fight characters like Deity, A Tywin. She can't be debuffed if she has more than 3 focus. So focus style character, and she has self-sustain, and you can build her relatively bulky, and she can't take too much damage in a single hit. She's always going to be a solid character in any meta that we play. She's not insanely broken, but she's very annoying to fight depending on your drafting style. Next up, Solitaria. Solitaria got bumped up on this list because characters with focus. She's always just a nice character to have. The new Flan, if you pick Solitaria into that new Flan can't dual attack because it has no focus. So Solitaria did get a bump up. She's just always a nice character to just own on your account. So say you're doing Guild Wars or anything that has a focus style character on the opponent's team. Back in the day, it used to be Seaside Bologna. People had Seaside Bologna on their defenses. You just pick Solitaria into it and you don't care. You just win for free. So I think there will be a time where that happens again, where you just bring Solitaria into a team. So she's always just going to be like in a higher tier versus the situational tier because she can be used outside of that role too as just a general debuffer. Next up, we have Urban Shadow Shu. She's your best injury character in the game besides Death Dealer Ray. But this is a damage style injury character. She's going to attack. She gives herself sustain, and she gives speed buff to your team. Next up, we have Lone Crescent Bologna. This is to pick against characters that have some kind of anti-crit on them. And she will always be good. She's insane for PvE content. You can build her on Goblin gear with Sigurd Scythe. So the Goblin event that just happened, there was someone who built her on that Goblin gear, put her on Sigurd Scythe, cleared all of Abyss for him. It's just free Abyss. I mean, there's some stages they have to do Kyrus and Poison. But Lone Crescent Bologna is unbelievably strong in pretty much any PvE content you could ever want to use her in. And she's great for PvP, especially Guild Wars. So Lone Crescent Bologna will always be like higher tier on any list. Next up, Ruel's like a 50-50 again, like the Kayron. She is getting a buff today. She is going to be super annoying to kill. She has a revive in her kit now, so if she dies, she revives, pushes up combat readiness. It's going to be really good against high momentum players. Obviously, that's raising Brysaria's overall skills. Brysaria at the beginning I had up here, but I'm going to keep her down here for now. Brysaria can be built fast. She can be built slow. She can be built on damage, no damage. Brysaria is just a super universal character that can be built in a bunch of different ways, but she's still, most people use Guiding Light artifact on her. So if you don't have that, she's not going to probably be in the top pick because it's going to be harder for you to gear her to use her to the max capacity. So that is my opinion on Briar, but she is going to be good into Ruel and some of the other things that are happening right now because she does have a soul burn to ignore effect res as well, which can strip a Kayron. Next up, we have Spectre Sebria, PvE goddess. If you are a newer player and maybe you picked Arby, going with Spectenny could help you solve all of the PvE on your account. So she will just be in the really good tier always. Some things Arby will not be able to fight, whereas Spectre Sebria will just hard carry you through some of the Abyss floors 100 to 120. Now we have our situational picks. These situational picks, some of them are just as good as the top pick characters, again. But with these situational picks, this is going to be people who have probably already established their accounts, right? You're going to be multi-year player. You know which one of these characters would work well for you. So we have Last Rider Crow. He's getting a buff. Same with Soulblight Araminta. Last Rider Crow now gives skill cooldown when he uses skill 3 and gives immunity. So potentially Last Rider Crow is going to be decently strong depending on if people find the regular drafting order for him. That's the biggest thing with Epic 7 is, can you draft order this character properly? Now, in terms of Arena and Guild Wars, I think he'll be fantastic. And he is a counter to A Tywin, which is great because A Tywin's one of the top knights right now. So I think Last Rider Crow has a lot of potential. He may end up going up into the really good tier whenever we redo this list. Dark Corvus is always solid for Guild Wars. He's just new player. Same with ML5 idea. You just put him on free HP gear. He's going to work great. Next, we have Soulblight Araminta. She can be built on insanely high effectiveness now, and that effectiveness translates to attack. So whenever you put burns on the opponent, your effectiveness is going to give you up to 4,000 or 5,000 attack, meaning your burns are going to do more. But having that higher effectiveness allows you to hit some of those high effect res targets that you normally can't hit with any of your characters. Requiem Rowana, god tier character, but she's in situational and not in any of these because she relies on another character to work. You need another speed character, so you need a Zeo, you need a 300 speed Ran, you need something that is going to take turn 1, meaning that I'm not going to put Requiem Rowana up here because she's really good, because you need something else to make her work. So as a standalone character, I don't want a newer player that likes Rowanna's design to go pick her and never be able to play her. So she's going down in situational. APOC Ravi, again, situational character. As a new player, she's still fantastic. As a more existing player, you'll pick her less, but there are a lot of places that if in-game players did pick her, they would win their matches just a lot of the time. ML Shu is out, so ML Shu would take the injury role away from her, and usually ends up being an ML Shu angle over APOC angle. But it just depends on the draft. I still pick her occasionally. Sage Ball is a great character. He can be used for anti-cleave. He cuts whenever an opponent ends their turn, and he can cut in front of the opponent and put the entire enemy team to sleep. So the thing with that, though, is you're only going to use it into people that draft a specific way against you, meaning you're not going to pick him very often. Next up, Desert Joe Basar. I'm putting him in situational because I think immunity is coming back again. This is, again, if bad unit, why hot? What I just read? Okay. But yeah, Desert Joe Basar with him giving immunity, maybe with the barrier inversion, there might be something there. I'm going to put him in situational. If you think you have a spot where he could be used, we'll see over the next few weeks with the meta changes. But I really think we need to start valuing immunity characters and immunity set more over the next little bit. Faithless Litica, if you have the speed gear, she can reset. She can be used into a Miki. If you fully reset a Miki, if you can get enough effectiveness on her. Not a bad character, but not a great character. It's still just better options generally. Designer a little bit. It's a cleanser. Designer a little bit's nice because it's a cleanser. The problem with her being a cleanser is she... Oh, wait, she's getting buffed. Wait, she's actually kind of nice. I'm going to put her higher. So she gives herself immunity now. She cleanses and then gives herself immunity. It's actually really good. I think Designer a little bit is not a bad cleansing option. She only gives herself immunity, not your allies. But she cycles so fast and she has a cleanse that isn't a non-attack skill. I think she could be actually decent. I don't think she could still ever beat Death Dealer Ray. But for other general debuffers, I don't think she's bad. All right, next up we have Eternal Wonder Ludwig. Eternal Wonder Ludwig is a fantastic character, especially for Arena. The issue is he's in situational because you need other characters to go around him. You need the Max Taghaus books. Having Frida is nice. Having a Max book on your New Moon Luna is amazing. Without that stuff, you don't want to pick Ludwig too early because you may not be able to use him until your account's a year or two old. So, but if you are a year or two old player and you have all the cleats set up with no Ludwig, he may be the best pick for you. You will go for him. Next up, Lionheart Sirmia. She's not great. She's not terrible. For early RTA, she's really strong. She's nice to have in Arena and Guild Wars too. But overall, when you climb, she starts to fall off because her damage isn't enough and she's too easy to kill. So Lionheart Sirmia used to be really good. If you're low-end RTA, she's still really good. But as you climb, don't expect her to be working forever. Mid Chloe, it gives you extra effect rush. She's a reviver. She's a great character. Say you don't have any other revivers on your account, she could be a great pickup. I think Ruel is going to end up outperforming her. But if you like doing effect rush style comps, she could be great for you. Next up, we have Remnant Violet. If you want to just gamble, he's okay. If you want to just gamble, he's a strong character, but I wouldn't personally push for anyone to take him unless you just love his design. Next up, Top Model Luca, situational because you need God gear for her to work. She's super cool, but if you don't build her super fast, I mean, yes, you could build her 250 speed and she'll perform down in gold and masters RTA when you want to use her. But as you try to develop your account and make your account a real Epic 7 account, she's going to need to be on one of those crackhead insane builds for you to actually utilize her. Next up, we have Judge Kisei. Same idea as the Top Model Luca. You want good gear. You want other good surrounding units. I guess it's more similar to the Ludwig idea. Judge Kisei doesn't need the crackhead speed gear, but she needs the support around her. All right, next up, Little Queen Charlotte. I don't know if she belongs here. As a newer player, she could be great. She gives mitigation. She gives extinction. Gives you a character that can light bait in Guild Wars and can extinct a character. It does insane damage. So Little Queen Charlotte is definitely better than these bottom characters. I'll put her there. Spirit Eye Celine as a reviving character. She's a 4th, 5th pick RTA character, or Arena Guild Wars just gives you a reviver. If your opponent has all characters that crit, so say they have an Abyssal Fiend, Spirit Eye Celine can be fantastic into that. Next up, ML Ken's the same idea. It's literally the same idea as Spirit Eye Celine, but it doesn't revive your team. So ML Ken is still really strong. You just have to pick him in the right spot. Strays has fallen off with ML Ilanev and everything else in the game, but he's still an okay character. He can still be using some PvE stuff. So he'll go into situational. If you have a use for any of these characters in situational, maybe they're the character for you. But like again, 90% of the players are going to take something from the top pick or really good tier. Next up, we have the probably don't grab unless you just like the character. We have Archdemon Shadow. I play her. I think she's fine. You can soul burn seal, but she's really easy to kill. That's the only issue with her. So next up, you have Architect Leica. If she could be in situational, but I think the other character's just better. Right now, same with Golden Charles. They take insane gear to make work, and this has a non-attack skill. Super easy to counter. These would be like 5th pick characters in your draft that they're just going to get banned when you do pick them, so you get no enjoyment out of having them. Next up, we have Commander Pavel. He could be used in Cleave, but he'll probably get banned if you ever have your opponent, or if you ever draft in a way your opponent. The idea of picking a character just to get it banned hurts me, but it makes sense because it gets the rest of your characters through. Operator Sigrid's just in a terrible spot right now. She doesn't do enough damage for the job she's supposed to. Fire Captain Flan is usable technically, but she doesn't have a strip on her kit. And without having that strip, you can't land your debuffs. That's going to be one of the main issues people run into with Silver Layer Araminta. So if your opponent has immunity, she does nothing. Next up, we have Astromancer Elena. Mort's just better. Mort's just better. Mort's just better. She has strip on S1. She has buff steal on S1. And it's a 75%. All right, you can't say that. Astromancer Elena, we have Mort now. Use the stripper first. What if your stripper gets banned? Sharoon on really good. I will always highly value Sharoon. Sharoon is, if you know how to play Sharoon, she's a god tier character. Explain Jason Bourne joke. Well, the Jason Bourne thing's out of here. But Astromancer Elena, guys, we have Mort now. Why would you ever use Astromancer Elena? Okay, and next up, Fallen Steel, she's just in a bad spot, and she has been forever. So that is my first take. We will be redoing this list in 14 days. Okay, 14 days we'll redo the list, and I'll tell you if any of my opinions have changed. But again, I wanted to get the conversation started on this because the more excited you are, the more likely you're going to log in and get your coins to get an ML5. So that's a whole reason we're doing this video. Get you guys excited. We get a free ML5 of your choice. Now, if there's a character you want to just pick them. It's Epic 7. It's a video game. There's a character you want to grab because you love the character. Grab the character. This is your chance. This is your chance to do it. All right, you guys can be nice again. You guys can be nice again. All right. Oh, okay. So now that we're to the end of the video, though, I told everybody in chat to be as mean as possible on every take I do to try to bait some of the mean comments out. So I know those of you guys that are hate watching will see that, and then you'll be more inclined. So I comment farmed anyone who has some negative things, and those comment farms will help the video hit the algorithm better. Absolutely amazing idea. But that was the idea. Hopefully, I can't wait to go back and see the shit you guys said during it. But that is my list. Again, get excited for this. Make sure you're grinding every day and pick a character that is your target. And then maybe in 2 weeks, that target will change because you may end up pulling that character because we have the summon event. But yep. So there we go. That is our 2024 Headhunt event. I don't have anything else for the list. Hopefully this video did get you excited. I don't know how to end this video. We're just going to end it here. Thanks for watching. I will see you all next time.